Ahoy, matey, and welcome to episode 201 of the Sonic Movie Show. That's right, it's season 5. My name is Ethan. With me here, as always, to center the right-hand side of the screen is Devin.
You're no match for me. I've been training for this my entire life.
That's true. And to help fight you and me, I guess supposedly, we have our new semi-regular guest. I don't know if this is a guest going forward because he's contracted for 20 episodes. Our friend David, how's it going?
But doing well. I'm siding with Mike Tyson.
Okay.
I don't know if that part will be in the
I'll have to throw it in there now.
Yeah, he's siding with Mike
As
Tyson.
soon as you allude to a conversation
I'm
happened
fine with
before
that being
it
in the
started,
ether.
Now, that's right, folks. If you didn't know, this is the Sonic Movie Show, the only show about Sonic news, and video game movie reviews. Here on the Sonic Movie Show, we like those video game movie reviews a lot. It's one of our, Devin has been on record many times saying that it's his favorite types of show that we record. It's mine as well, and we decided, you know what, we want to do even more of them this season of the Sonic Movie Show. From 201 onwards.
Bigger and better.
Well, just more, So instead of doing the normal amount we usually do, we're doing at least 18. There will still be new movies that release. We will review those as they come out. But we're doing 18 movies that have already released. Some might have been from last year during a writer's strike that we avoided covering because of that.
Or it was on a live stream. Or not a live stream, a streaming service, and we just
chose not
forgot
to
about it.
Yeah.
Mostly.
Yeah, there's a couple. But yeah, so we're doing 18 of those total, and just like last season, we want to make it a little bit fun. How fun exactly is this going to be, Devin? Tell me how this is going to go.
Hopefully a lot of fun.
Shut up. You're coming in here and do this as a special guest.
Sorry, he said Devin, so I thought
you're not allowed to drink on camera, David.
So last year we did a draft between Ethan and I where we picked 6 movies each, and so a total of 12, and we basically watched them in the order we picked them, and it just made it really fun to, I guess, start with the better, quote-unquote, better movies, and then kind of get into some movies that we just took a flyer on. We're like, maybe this will be good. Maybe The Angry Birds will be a good movie, and it wasn't too bad. Just for an example. But I think it just adds kind of a different way instead of us just going in and being like, this movie sucked, or this movie was good. And we talk about the movie still like we normally do, but we always rank them in tiers, and I don't know, what's better than a friendly competition.
That's right.
And now that we have had David, I think it'll make it a little bit more intense. It still came down to the wire. It still came down to the last
Less
movie.
than a point.
Wow.
Yep,
Less than a point. It was close.
That's closer than I thought.
Yeah, because there was a bit of, I think Ethan had the big lead at the beginning because he got like an A tier movie or B tier movie.
I had the only A tier film. It was both of our first picks, and I went first and got it.
Yeah.
Which was the 2018 Tomb Raider reboot film. It was our only A-rank film. But remember, Devin, I also got screwed over, and I didn't get the bonus points for one of my films because there was no Rotten Tomatoes page for it or whatever.
Yeah.
So, it kind of worked back out. Again,
that
less
is part
than
of
a
the...
point.
And I think that's what makes this fun is that there's some strategy to this. I'll say I have a strategy. I won't share it until maybe after the draft, based off of maybe last year, learning from last year, but also it being a little bit different with 3 people. But yeah, we're going to give the Sonic Movie Show tier ranking, and whatever the ranking is for that movie, it gets points, and that points go to that person. And then on top of it, they get a point, a decimal, of whatever the Rotten Tomatoes audience score is, not the critic score, the audience score.
Right.
And that kind of keeps us in the loop a little bit, like, hey, we liked this movie, but it only has a 20% Rotten Tomatoes score. We're on the outliers a little bit. Or sometimes we're kind of just validated a little bit, be like, yeah, other people did like this film too. And it's just a fun way to give bonus points and also act as a tiebreaker in case we all get C tier movies, and it's just like,
right.
Okay,
Which
we all
could happen.
tie.
Which could happen.
Yeah.
Now, Devin, you and I have watched a total on this podcast 50 films. Corpse Party, the last movie of the last season, was the last film that we watched, and it was our 50th. If you count Detective Pikachu, our 3rd episode of the podcast, that was number 1, and Corpse Party was 50. So we've watched collectively at least 50 video game films. David, I want to know.
Has never seen a motion picture. He doesn't know the concept.
We could show him that train, and he would.
I'm
scream.
hoping you guys can explain what a movie is.
No, David, I want to know. I know obviously you play video games. I mean, I hope you haven't been lying to us about that.
That's true. Yeah.
What's your kind of
with some of you sometimes
relationship with video game films? Have you watched any?
I'm trying to think back. I think the first couple I saw were just like the Pokemon films, like when we were kids. But recently, not really. I don't know of any off the top of my head. I'm trying to think.
I mean, if you go on our list here in our Excel sheet that only we can see, on the green, on the left, that's our order of which we watched. Do any of these ring any bells?
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, I mean,
Lara Croft, Assassin's Creed. We knew you were Assassin's Creed kid.
I'm a big Assassin's Creed fan. Have not seen the any shows
we don't
or
recommend
movies.
So
okay, good to know. I think I'm really not that big of a moviegoer in general or a movie watcher. I tend to watch a lot of TV shows instead, but I am sort of excited to see a bunch of these and see how if I've been missing out or if I've been choosing correctly and not watching them. So we'll see.
Remember, over on youtube.com/@SonicMovieShow, we have a handy playlist of every video game movie review we've ever done. So if you're curious, you can always flip through there, find a movie on there, be like, oh, I'm curious what they thought about Assassin's Creed or the World of Warcraft movie, or, any of those types of things. You could
highly recommend. I think we've said it multiple times in the show. Dead or Alive is probably one of my favorite episodes we recorded.
I was going to say that.
Yeah, one of the best movies we've watched, I think.
David, you asked me.
Ones.
You asked me on Discord earlier in text. Are they going to be good or anything? Something about that, and I said I don't think so in the classic sense. But, there have been some okay to bad films that we really liked. DOA, Dead or Alive, based off the extremely horny 3D fighting game series, was a blast to watch. It's a terrible film, but it's awesome. And it's they understood what they were doing. That's a B-tier film for us. Terrible. Just terrible. It looks awful. But it's a lot of fun. And, that's all that mattered to us,
Right,
so...
Yeah. Okay.
Why don't I show everyone here kind of what we're doing? We're going to be each picking 6 films, a total of 18 by the end of this, from a potential list of 24 films. Those films are right here. Devin, why don't you go ahead and read off, I posted in Discord, alphabetically, the list of all 24 films that we can be picking from. We are picking from today.
Am I going across here? Alone in the Dark. Yes, Alone in the Dark. Animal Crossing. Art of Fighting. Bayonetta. Bloody Fate. Dante's Inferno. An animated epic. Dead Trigger. Fatal Fury. Legend of the Hungry Wolf. Five Nights at Freddy's. Gran Turismo. In the Name of the King. A Dungeon Siege Tale. Max Payne. House of the Dead, Mortal Kombat Legends, Battle of the Realms, Nico Atsume House, Ninja Gaiden, Persona 3, the movie, number 3, Falling Down, Professor Layton and the Eternal Diva, Resident Evil, Damnation, Street Fighter Alpha, the movie, not to be confused with Street Fighter, The Legend of Chun-Li, Super Mario Brothers, The Great Mission to Rescue Princess Peach, Tekken, the motion picture.
Nice.
Tetris.
That's right.
3 different movies.
Tekken is a live-action film, and Tekken the motion picture is, I believe, an anime OVA. It's at least an animated film.
Half of these are animated. I think we should preface that to people who don't know these offhand. Half of these are animated animes, cartoons, not real life.
Right.
Everything else is a documentary.
Whoa.
Oh, everything else is a documentary. Yes, well, then I definitely want to watch some of these. I want to know what was going on in that House of the Dead. um, but yes, we are watching all of those here. And as a reminder, folks, Devin mentioned, score, David's anticipating getting a score. Here is the rubric
Winning.
that we do to score these on. So we give them tiers S, A, B, C, D, E, and F. They have different meanings, but it's generally just how good are they? They count up that way. And you get points for them. So if Devin picks a movie and we agree when we go to watch it, it's an S tier film, Devin gets 6 points. If David picks a movie that we watch and we're like, hey, this is an A rank, he gets 5. If I pick one that's a B, I get 4. C is 3, D is 2, E is 1, and F is 0. Now, after we've picked all 18 of these films, we are each going to be doing counter picks on each other. So David, you will have a counter pick of Devin and a counter pick of myself, Ethan. I will have one for David and Devin. Devin, you will have one for myself and David. One film on each person's list after all the lists are done. These counter picks are you saying, David, hey, Ethan, that movie you picked, I think that's actually going to be really bad. You're going to get points if it is. So here's how this works for that.
But Ethan doesn't lose points. I
Right.
should preface that. I
Right.
think it's like the one part that we forget to say sometimes, and it can get confusing.
Well,
Ethan
it
doesn't
didn't
lose
work out
points.
that
It's
way
just-
last year.
It's just bonus
You're right,
points
right.
for
So
the person.
let's say you pick a film of mine, and it's actually an F tier. You get 4 points. If it was E, you get 3. D, 2. C, 1. B, you get nothing. It's 0. If it's an A, you lose a point. And if it's an S tier film, you'll lose 2. So if you pick a movie and you're like,
Damn.
Ethan, that pick of yours, I think it's going to be terrible. And then we're like, shit, this movie was amazing. You're going to lose 2 points for that. So that's how that works. And,
Can we, question,
yeah.
can we, let's say you have your 6 movies, Ethan. Can Dave and I pick the same movie?
Ooh, I'm going to say yes. I'm going to
Okay.
say yes.
Double down.
So yeah,
Double down
your
on it.
Ethan,
Nice.
your Ethan counter picks can be the same film.
Okay.
It works out that way. And as a reminder, folks, we have reviewed, like I said, 50 films in the past here on the Sonic Movie Show. I know that, this video is actually kind of slow as it scrolls up, but we've reviewed likes of Detective Pikachu and Sonic the Hedgehog 2. Those are films we considered an S-rank film. We've reviewed a bunch of films that were like pretty good. Devin, what would you consider an A-rank film?
I think just good. On the video game scale, I think we should preface that. This is on the video game scale. Ethan mentioned it a little bit earlier. That like an S tier video game movie might be a B tier regular movie, depending on your I guess how many movies you've seen maybe, and then also your tastes in movies. That's like I think a bigger debate. But in terms of video game movies, an A tier movie I think is really, really good. Maybe it's just missing some of that secret sauce that gets you an S tier sometimes. Maybe there's sometimes it's a scene. Sometimes it's like, wow, that scene was just so good. It's an S tier film for me because of that reason. That's always how, for me, I think, going for A rank that we've done in the past. We're like, these are really good movies. Still would recommend them. Maybe it's just missing a little bit to get it over the top to
And
because S tier
B-tier
should be in like the legendary,
Right.
not everything should just be thrown in the S tier. Oh, because it's good. It should be
Right.
in the fantastic, amazing, highly recommend. Would watch
You would
this.
be recommending this to
Would watch
friends
this
and family.
outside of show. Yeah, recommending to
Right,
friends.
right.
David,
Oh, absolutely,
David. Yeah.
absolutely. B tier films are films that have more going for them than against them. They're usually a surprise in how fun they are. C tier, they are middle of the pack. There's a lot of potential here, but it's squandered. Maybe they weren't doing the video game license all that well. Maybe
It
they
could be well
just-
made though, but maybe it
Yeah.
just isn't
Yeah.
exciting. Assassin's Creed, I think we put as C, right?
Assassin's Creed, as it's slowly
D?
scrolling up on screen right now, is the pinnacle D tier film
Okay.
because it's boring as shit. D tier films,
well made.
We've
visually
called
and
those,
everything,
yeah.
but-
Visually, it looks like a very well made movie. But what the hell was going on in that movie? What were they doing? It was so dumb.
So it's
Michael
a movie you would
Fassbender, why are
lie
you
to
doing
people that you've seen.
it?
Say, no, I didn't go
Exactly.
see it. I didn't waste my time on that.
More going against it than for it. But like, man, I wish some of these were better than they actually were. E tier films. How would you describe an E tier film, Devin?
bad and not fun. Like I'm looking at my phone. I'm looking to see how much time left is in the movie. Never gonna watch this again. Sometimes it's poorly made. Sometimes it is well made, maybe, but like it's just so boring. Than Assassin's Creed. I know it's not fair if you haven't seen Assassin's Creed, but you just know it. Where it's just like, if you're doing this, you're looking at your phone, like I said, maybe you're like, can I go get a snack or something? You're just not wanting to pay attention. You don't care what's happening on the screen. That is E tier for sure.
And then F, as it just finally said goodbye on the screen. So far is just Postal. These are films that somehow, beyond everything Devin has just said, are just straight up terribly offensive. Like, what the hell were you doing making this film? So
This
the
should have never
chances,
existed.
the
I feel bad for
chances
everyone
of us
involved.
getting
Yeah.
an F tier film here, I feel like are low.
I hope so. I hope no one gets an F
But-
tier. I want everyone to pick, honestly, A and Bs because that makes the season enjoyable. It means we
Right.
watch a lot of good stuff. At the end of the day, like, this is a fun competition, but I'd rather it all be, like, high scoring because that means we're watching good stuff. I do not want a season of, like, wow, been a lot of D's and
Yeah.
E's.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing.
We'll see.
Here's the thing. Last season on the Sonic Movie Show, we reviewed 12 films for the scoring for the draft, and one was an A. There was a couple Bs, but there was a lot of, majority was C and below. This time around, looking at this list, I have obviously not seen any of these films, but I know like some of them are like middling. That's all best I know is, they were middling, but like, is that to the video game movie grade, or is that just to films? Because guess what? I would say DOA Dead or Alive would be a terrible film if I was putting up against all films in total. You know what I mean?
yeah.
So, I don't know. Some of these might actually be super campy fun. Some of them might be really, really, really bad. So we're going to find out together. Now, I have these films up
Question.
one... What's up, David?
So we're, this is a friendly competition, but I guess I'm assuming, so when we get into the ranking phase, I mean, we're ranking these all in like good faith, like as true to how we actually viewed the film, even though it's like an Ethan pick and we really want it to be bad.
Right.
Right?
And we need to like agree on the singular tier as
Right.
well.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, there have been times
That's what I
last
figured.
season where there'd be actually I know exactly the film. It was Ni no Kuni, one of my picks. And Devin was telling me like, man, it's gonna be an S. Like I can just everything's going on, but I'm like, no, this is a B at best, and that's the kind of the way it worked out. Sometimes we disagree, but it's usually a tier away, and we kind of just figure it out. I guess it depends on how well you can convince your argument. I'm curious to see how it goes with 3 people. I would say like we haven't been. I mean, we don't need to do this, so like we're just doing it to have fun. So there's no like spite. Actually, I
like
think
I
your
said-
pick was so bad, and my whole personality this episode is to try to convince you that this movie's terrible.
Right.
We don't do that.
Yeah.
So
I mean, like I said, like I want us to be watching just good, solid movies.
Yeah.
So if that means we're all getting A, Bs, S's, like I'd rather that be the case. I don't really care at the end of the day. It's just a fun way I think of talking about the movies. Be like, oh, it makes it more exciting too to be like, okay, what's the next movie on the list? Oh, we're watching this. Oh, I don't know. Devin really needs 3 more points. He really needs to get a C
Yeah.
on this next one. I hope so. Like I think it makes it fun, but also, like I said, I'd rather it be, we're going into this with good faith because I also wanted to be watching good stuff. I do not want to watch an F tier movie and then come in and be
Yeah.
like, yeah, sorry, Ethan, you got a
Yeah.
shit movie, but I also don't want to talk about this because it's F tier.
Yeah.
right.
Boring.
Right. So we will find out together. Now, folks, some of these films, I mean, I guess we'll get to it if they get picked. Some of them are, I think, a couple of them are not in English, so we might have to find subtitled versions. We will make sure we find them. It'll be good. And I know one of these films, I actually have. There's been a fan translation of it, like a redub. So if that movie comes up, we will discuss
5
all that
Nights at
together.
Freddy's.
No, that was a movie from last year, in America. So I guess who is going first?
I think.
Thank you, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't want to say that because you guys would have
since I
been
was
like, "Oh, of course
I
he's
lost."
going first."
But I much rather have
Gloating.
back-to-back picks. I think.
Okay.
I mentioned this before we recorded here into the audience, just for transparency. This is different than other fantasy like sports where you have some maybe knowledge of prior seasons or whatever to be like, yeah, I know this person's going to get probably around this. This is straight up a lottery draft, basically, of like, we're just guessing based off titles mostly. I'm looking at the years. I'm looking at who direct. I don't look at directors or anything. I'm just going off our Excel sheet. Like you have Jason Statham listed at one point. It's like, how much weight do I put on that? You know what I mean? We have Uwe Boll, not friend of the show, on here for three movies. You know, so I think those kind of things. I think you could have a strategy around that. I'll share my strategy after we draft for funsies, but yeah, I think for me, I'd rather go. I don't want to pick first because there's so many options and it's really just a crapshoot anyways. So you're welcome to go first.
And fun fact, Devin, there's a couple movies on the list here that were on the list last year that we didn't pick. And they were randomly.
Was House of the Dead one of them? I feel like House of the Dead was.
I know Street Fighter Alpha was, and I think In the Name of the King was. I forget because I actually still have my season 4 picks.
Looks like Alone in the Dark.
I think last time I just winged
over.
it. Last time I don't think I had like a couple that I'm like, these are must-haves. But other than that, I was like, once we got to like picks 4 and 5, I was like, it doesn't, whatever's best available in my head at that moment is what I picked. This time I ranked all 24 films.
I did as well, even though statistically you won't see those last 6 at all.
Yeah, like I'm like, you won't see 19 through 24. Yeah,
right.
Yeah, I went up to 19.
But I know from my pick, you obviously. You picked one of the films that was on my picks from last year, so obviously I couldn't do that. For what would have been my last pick on my ranking list, I didn't do that one, and I just picked one I thought was a Hail Mary that was Oni Chambara the movie. So
definitely one of
that
flyer
could be
picks for sure.
See what you're thinking. You're like, shit, I gotta hope
I
this movie was a diamond in the rough.
I will say though, I think there is some movies because maybe some of them came out recently or in the last 10 years. Or ones that are sequel that I think maybe Ethan and I have an advantage on over David. So I think that could maybe... I don't want to say it's a pure lottery, but it's pretty close to one. I think once we get past some of the big ones I think you all are going to pick, I'm very curious to see what you all have in your top 5.
I'm interested you say that because I look at this list and I'm like, last year there was a very obvious, the Tomb Raider one was both our first picks. And then Resident Evil Degeneration. But that movie... That Degeneration film wasn't
fine.
It was okay. It was not what we expected.
It sucked because I think that was the movie I picked that one because of we've seen clips on Twitter from the other movies,
crazy anime gun fu, and we know those are later ones. So we were just a little disappointed that this one was kind of. But my point being that I look at this list now, all 24 of these, and I don't see any straight up obvious ones here.
I think there's 3. I think there's 3 that I have in my top 3 that I'm I'm pretty strong on, but we'll see. I'm hoping to get one of them because I
feel like there's only one that I feel strong on, and I think it's because it's a movie that I would want to watch.
Ethan picked David's pick.
Yeah.
David, be honest with me now. Which one was it? I need to pick it first. All right, so. Why don't we kick this off? Let's leave no delays. It's been a half an hour in this recording. I'm going to go first and pick my number 1 pick here. A film I have been desperate to watch because sitting on my YouTube watch list is a video essay on this very film that I have not watched because I didn't want it to taint my perspective of the film.
Interesting.
I'm going to go ahead. My first pick is going to be Street Fighter: The Legend of Chun-Li. That is going to be my first pick. Now, here's why.
Damn.
I know it's live action. I believe it was 2009-ish. And all I heard was that it was middling at best. I'm not sure if it's going to be particularly good. But, I'm desperate because that was the last live action Street Fighter movie. There's something there was a fan one that happened that they kind of bought or something, but I don't know. This was their big attempt in Hollywood, so I don't know. It could be DOA good, or it could be the King of Fighters bad, where I watch a character come out and say he's a part of the FBI, and I'm like, you're just a dude in the game. What do you mean you're in the FBI? That level of not understanding. So that's my very first pick. So it's up there on the board.
And we're doing
now.
Snake Draft. I don't know if I mentioned it in the recording. We are doing Snake Draft, which is basically we're going in order and then reverse order, then order again in reverse order. It's just going back and forth like a snake chasing a snake, Ouroboros. Basically,
all right.
It'll be Ethan, David, myself, David, Ethan, and so on until we pick all 6.
Exactly. With the exception that I'm picking all 6 of my films first before any of the others. No.
Right.
With that out of the way, David, I am curious to know what your first pick is. What was that movie that you were so
time
gung-ho
to close my eyes and randomly pick? No, so what stuck out to me, I always have enjoyed car movies. So Gran Turismo, immediately I was like, number one. It has to. I mean, in 2023. I don't know if based on a true story or quote
from
there.
Gamer to Racer.
Yeah, I just feel like car movies are just fun. So I got to go with Gran Turismo because it's the one movie that I was like, oh, I'm actually excited to watch that one.
Perfect.
I think I'll share more of my thoughts like after we draft everything because I don't want to like sway. Playing competitive here. Okay.
Interesting. Right.
I will say Ethan's pick was 13 for me, so
hey,
it was an interesting pick from my perspective. But
Gran
I'm probably wrong. So.
Gran Turismo was my 11th pick. Is that how that works? 6. Yeah, 6. It would be my 11th pick.
Gran Turismo was my 2nd.
Damn.
Wow.
And then Chun-Li was 5th. But I'll share my strategy later.
Okay. You know, I want to get a little peek on what that strategy is right now, Devin. What's your first pick?
All right, so this film also came out last year, and it was one that we kind of forgot about. But from what I've heard, it wasn't a bad movie. And in a list of what could be a lot of bad movies, I don't know. On a video game scale, we don't know. And some of these, I'm really not confident in. I'm like, I need to go with one that I didn't hear was bad. And was on a streaming service, and it was produced, I believe, by Apple. And Apple has actually made some pretty good stuff in the last couple.
I heard Severance is good.
Years. Severance is very good. I love that show. I'm picking Tetris.
That was my number 2.
See, that's my number 1. Yeah,
that was my number 12.
I was really hoping to sneak in.
Good.
I think it was a safe pick.
Once Ethan picked Chun-Li, I was like, man, if I can get Tetris and Gran Turismo back to back, though, that'd be dirty, I think. But I'm gonna take number 1 off my board.
I'm gonna throw it out there. I think that was an excellent pick. It was my 12th pick only because I wanted to get. You'll see with my picks. I didn't want to play it too safe. I'm the winner from last year. I get to flex a little bit here. You know what I mean? I'm trying. Most of
take
my
a little
films,
chance.
Most of my films are hopes. I'll put it out like that. Most of mine are hopes. So,
see, I'm hopes for me are like rounds 4 through 6. You know, I'm trying to go for.
Well, they're rounds 1 through 6
decent.
for me. Now, Devin, because of the snake draft, you get to go again. What is your second pick?
All right. So one of my picks last year was a film that I was kind of hoping would give me some points, and it did put some points on board. It actually was probably my strongest pick of the draft last year and one of our favorites of last year's season. This is the sequel to it. This is Mortal Kombat Battle of the Realms. It's the sequel, I believe, to the Mortal Kombat one that we watched about Scorpion's Revenge or whatever.
I think they're all anthologies because there's like 4 of them out by now. Yeah. The 5th one coming out.
I just know it's the next one in the that was made, and all of those, from what I've heard, are very good. We decently enjoyed the first one. We had some critiques of it in terms of feeling like Scorpion was turned into a side character despite him being in the title, but it still was a well animated, very Mortal Kombat-y cartoon.
It was very batty.
So yeah, I'm picking Mortal Kombat. So I have Tetris and Mortal Kombat for my picks here.
Yeah, I actually owned this film on 4K on a steelbook because Best Buy has been liquidating out all of their stuff. So I have it. I got the next one too, Snowblind, for if it's on next year's next season's thing. I got it in advance. Okay, with that said, now we have 4 films down. We have 14 to go. David, I want to know what your second pick
right back
is.
to me.
That's right. It goes back and forth.
I wanted my second pick to be Tetris. And I guess so.
It was Hillary Clinton's favorite playing game.
Continuing.
There's a photo of her playing Tetris on the Game Boy on a plane.
I'm finding the more I think about why I picked these, it's just the ones that I think I would enjoy. And so I
Hey, you're one of the
picked
3
Max
people
Payne,
grading it.
and because I enjoy detective thriller type movies. So I'm
This might
hoping
be,
it's a 2008. I feel like it could be very hit or miss back in 2008. I feel like that could be real bad, but I'm finger crossed, banking on this one to be good.
Okay.
Max Payne.
Yeah, those Max Payne games are great, and Remedy is actually doing a remake of Max Payne 1 and 2 as one game. And they've been making some good games. Alan Wake 2 was a big success, and Control was one of my favorite games of 2019. And Rockstar has decided not to be douches and have licensed out their own game back to them. And so I wonder what this movie was like. I really have no idea. So this is a big...
Yeah.
I didn't even know this movie was really a thing until I looked at our list and I'm like, oh, interesting. Now it's time for my second pick. So, Street Fighter: The Legend of Chun-Li was a film I'm like, man, I'm really hoping I'm going to like this because, it's a live-action fighting game movie. Like, there have been hits and misses. I mentioned DOA and King of Fighters. Never really touched DOA, but I like King of Fighters. My second pick is another live-action video game film. And maybe it's just because I just recently purchased its latest iteration, but I'm going with Tekken, not to be confused with Tekken the motion picture. This is Tekken, the 2009, I think, live action film. And this is a hope that it's a DOA-like, because I know that the kind of lead producer and director of the series hates this movie. So we'll see. We'll see what it's like. I'm just hoping, man. I'm just hoping. I want it to be really goofy, funny, bad in a way that we're gonna be like, hell yeah, this rules. As opposed to, Terry Bogard CIA or whatever he said in King of Fighters. He's a bum. He's a why. Okay, so that's my second pick. I get to go again now. My third pick is an animated film, my first animated film of the block, which will be our second animated film of the total 7 so far. This is a film that I was like, oh yeah, I heard this was a thing years ago. I'm like, very interesting that this must have been really experimental and weird. And it's Japanese only as an animated film. And a couple of years ago, a fan project came together to to subtitle it into English for the first time. And I was very quick to scoop up the file for it, assuming that it might disappear one day. And so, I will hand it out to you guys. Not you guys, but them guys. We'll probably sit down together with my official DVD of it. It is Super Mario Brothers: The Great Mission to Rescue Princess Peach, which is the subtitled name for it. This is the oldest film on the list. This is, unless someone can find something older, the oldest
86.
video game film.
He's going for the veteran pick here.
Yes.
He isn't like all these rookies that are being drafted at the top.
Yeah.
So that's a
It's an
hope.
interesting pick with the new blood in here.
I have no idea what it's going to be like. It is the longest title I think we'll ever have. Although some of these Persona movies are freaking long. And that
Persona
scrolling
3,
list, oh my god. You can't just, oh my god, whatever, fine. I almost hit delete there. David, I'm curious to know what your third pick is here from this dwindling list of films.
They are dwindling, and I'm almost second guessing my list. I'll say,
Don't do it on account
right
of my
now,
picks.
well, no, it's more so I'm questioning as I am thinking about it more. So my pick should be based on my list. I'll just reveal I have number 4, Dante's Inferno, in animated epic. I don't know that that's going to be that good. Yeah. I don't know. But my next one on the list was Alone in the Dark. And after hearing a little bit of backstory about the director, I'm also heavily second guessing that
Who
one.
knows? Who knows?
Who knows? I know.
Who knows?
I don't know.
One of us at
but-
least likes horror, so maybe he gets a pass on that.
Horror movies
Yeah,
could be
I
easy
think-
to make bad good. Who knows?
Yeah. I think instead, I'm going to go to my number. I'm just going to really mix it up, and I'm going to go to my number 8 pick and pick Dead Trigger. It's a 2019 film. It's an action game. It sounds cool, and that's why I'm picking it.
Fun fact.
Yeah, that's
It might be a John Wick kind of thing. It kind of sounds like that.
Yeah, I mean, or like a slow like Western almost. Not Western, but like gunslinger.
Fun fact, I have no idea what this video game is. And so when making the thing, because I know all these other games, I like looked on Wikipedia, but I didn't want to like find anything about it to like spoil, I guess. So the best I could come up with is an action game, and I think it's apparent that there's probably guns in it, but I don't even know if it's a shooter. It might not be, for all I know.
Wow.
Very,
it's
very
recent
curious.
Too. That's kind of crazy.
2019.
And it slid under our radar, Devin, completely.
Clearly.
Speaking about Devin and what he thinks about films, I want to know what his next pick is, his third pick.
Well, I'm not going to lie to y'all. After the first round, I was worried that we had very similar boards. But I'll say, I'm not going to say who yet, but someone picked the last pick on my board. And then that same person then picked 20th on my board as well.
This guy.
I'm gonna go with number 4 on my list. I'm not gonna overthink it because I think that's what happened last year. I started overthinking trying to play it. I'm gonna stick to my strategy here, which is, even though the first one wasn't but we know that there's gonna be some gung fu happening soon. Give me Resident Evil Damnation. Come on, Leon Kennedy. Don't drop the ball this time.
That's right.
Maybe this will be the good one.
I am excited to watch this because I want to know when the gun fu actually begins. Because, David, this clip we saw was like insane. It is the most anime shit in the coolest way possible. Like it is, like the choreography on the action is just insane. Of people like it's Leon and Wesker, I think, and like they both had pistols and they're bam, 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 but like they're all just quickly dodging and like they're going up and like they're like undoing the clips and blah 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 and taking guns apart, but then
hitting each other with the guns.
It's insane in a rad way, and I want to know when that begins. And I'm hoping for Devin's sake, it starts with Damnation.
Yeah, that's what I'm banking on. Just that scene alone that is in this one.
So
I think I'm
that
next
is his
again.
third pick. Devin gets his fourth pick now.
This one I maybe ranked a little too high, but once again, I don't think I heard that it was fine. And in a video game scale sense, maybe that will be good. And I'm just trying to put points on the board at this point, you know what I mean? Or just trying to get as much points as possible. Five Nights at Freddy's.
Yeah, I knew
Five
you were
Nights at Freddy's.
I knew it was going to be that. Because as soon as you said, I've heard, I'm like, all right, there's not many films he could have possibly heard, like, opinions on of this left.
I saw the trailers. It didn't look, for a horror film, it didn't look amazing. But from what we heard, it just is fun. I didn't hear it was god-awful. Oh my God,
pick.
I can't believe this is in the theater.
It might be a safe pick. Yeah. Very excited. And hey, just a little foreshadow. I'm assuming it was me you were talking about, like last pick and this and that. Hey, you got counter picks. This is what makes it exciting.
I know.
This is
in a
what
way,
makes
me
it
ranking all of them, I think, helps me pick the counter.
Yeah.
No spoilers.
That's a good point. I should be.
I'm writing down all your picks right now on my draft board here. Yeah, I'm going old school, pen and paper over here.
These folks don't have the same visual the YouTube folks have, where the whole thing is on screen. But yes, it is a good idea to do so. You know what is a good idea? Just generally speaking, David telling me what his fourth pick is. Is it Dante's Inferno, or did he change it?
I mean, it's tough. I don't know if I want to go with my gut feeling, which was Dante's Inferno, an animated epic, because the title sounds cool. But the more I read it, the more it sounds kind of lame.
I will say this, David, if it means anything to you, I don't think the video game it's based off of is any good. And
Yeah.
I understand it's, that video game is based off Dante's Divine Comedy, aka Dante's Inferno. Sometimes it's referred to as Inferno. I don't know if that means anything to whatever this is. This could be great, and the video game could have been bad.
Do you think you wouldn't have the second guessing if it was just called Dante's Inferno?
That's a good point.
I'm just
Solid.
I'm just asking.
Yeah,
'cause I have it
no,
written
I
as
agree.
Dante's Inferno and forgot that it was.
Yeah.
And hey, to be fair,
think I
epic
would
probably
not.
refers to the literal sense of an epic and not like
Yeah.
epic, man. You know what I mean?
Yo, the best movie you'll see this
Yeah.
summer. Yeah.
You know.
All right. Let me not
We're really
second guess
convincing
myself
him
too
to get
much.
us a
I
counter
think.
pick.
Yeah. I think I am gonna go with it.
Okay.
This will be one of my riskier ones. And
Hey David,
Yeah.
I had it ninth.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
I kind of get what you're.
that's what I had Five Nights at Freddy's as.
I had it 20th.
Damn.
Interesting.
Okay.
All right.
Let's see here. Perfect. David's fourth pick was Dante's Inferno, an animated epic. Not too many films left here. Well, actually, there is a lot, but just picks wise. We got 7 picks left. I will now be picking my fourth pick. My fourth pick is an animated film, and it's another hope. And it's a hope because while I was robbed
hope here.
at the joy of seeing Terry Bogard be a cool-ass dude, he's like my favorite fighting game character of all time, instead of the just chump he was in the King of Fighters movie, I'm hoping his earliest video game film adaptation in Fatal Fury, Legend of the Hungry Wolf, is good. So that's my fourth pick. Fatal Fury, Legend of the Hungry Wolf. There are a few of these SNK animated films. Art of Fighting is one of them as well. So I'm hoping that the animated ones were better than the live action adaptations. So that is my fourth pick. It's okay, Devin. You don't need to tell me how that was your next pick. It's fine.
I mean, you get to go again, so it doesn't really matter what I think.
That is true. All right, Fatal Fury, Legend of the Hungry Wolf is on there. And now here is a real Hail Mary of mine.
I'm hearing a lot of every single pick is a Hail Mary.
I want it to be fun and exciting. I won last time. I feel like, hey, it's okay if someone beats me as long as I really tried. And this is me really trying. I'm not just trying to win. I'm trying to win with style here. This next one of mine is a video game that was a fad for a while. This popped up, I don't know if it was maybe 8 or so years ago, and it felt like everyone and their mothers, particularly the mothers, were playing this game. They loved it. It was on their phones, and you just had a bunch of cats. And I don't know anything else. And at some point, they made a live-action version of Neko Atsume House.
Fuck,
And
that was.
I don't know. That could be a great film. It honestly could. Why would they make it if they weren't intending to? Because I think by the time they made it, the fad had died. So I'm curious. Neko Atsume House is my fifth pick.
Damn, I wanted that one. That was one of my sleeper picks. That was 10th for me.
Yeah.
Wow.
That
I
is.
thought maybe that'd be a late flyer for me that I could sneak in there. Because I'm like, this could be a cute. If it's live action, especially, I'm like, oh, this could be a cute, fun little movie towards the end. Especially the fact that I picked a lot of violent, I feel like, stuff.
Right. Wait, I don't know. My memory of what I think a thumbnail was of an article that talked about this film years ago, I think was in Japan, a dude in his apartment and there's cats everywhere, and that's I think all I know. But even then, I'm not even sure if that's even real. If I've just made that up in my head, but I'm very curious. I'm also curious to know what David's fifth pick is, his second to last one. David, now is the time to really pick one that you really, really, really want to get you some sleeper points here.
Oh God. Yeah, I mean, I only have this pick and one more pick, huh?
That's right.
It's really getting down to it. I think I'm gonna take I'm gonna pull a Ethan. I'm gonna throw a Hail Mary, and I'm gonna hope that Jason Statham really pulls through for me.
Yes.
In the name of the king, a dragon
In the name of
siege
the king.
I'm really just hoping on him just being that good of an actor. And I'm gonna pick that.
Fun fact, there are 3 of these in the Name of the King films, all directed by Uwe Boll. I don't know if Jason Statham's in all 3. I didn't want to know that because that could maybe, he apparently, Jason Statham, has been in non-video game films that Uwe Boll has done. So I don't know. He must have been at a low point in his career if he wanted to go do cheap films with that guy.
I mean, this was 2008.
Or coming up.
This is Jason Statham's coming up for sure. This is 2008.
When was Transporter?
Transporter and Crank, and I think this would have been kind of in that middle before he got onto like Fast and Furious, which I think was 2010-ish. So this is definitely like on the up and up for Jason Statham.
Maybe this is how he got recognized.
I didn't rank it. I did rank it above a lot of other stuff. Still 19th on my list, but like I had it as like if I'm feeling it at the end, maybe I'm like, because I'm on the Jason Statham
it's a Hail
train.
Mary. Yeah.
I just watched Beekeeper in January and watched The Meg. Good? In the summer, and they are both just your classic Jason Statham, whatever the fuck action movies.
His
so,
actor,
yeah. So I'm hoping that the Uwe Boll stuff kind of just if we forget about it while we're watching it. Yeah.
It was 22 on my list.
Interesting.
Yeah. Now, Devin, you're gonna round out your 2 picks here, so I want you to really think carefully about the ones that are left here.
This is where I think this
one.
is where it'll be decided, because last time it did come down to the last 2 movies. We both kind of took flyers. I think the pool last year was a little bit more. I think we
realized they were all animated except for one of them too. Also,
yeah.
Sorry to interrupt.
So like last year, I feel like we both picked at the end our last 2. Like we just picked like very very underground almost. It felt like Japanese films of video games that we've never played before. And I will say there's still, though, some, I think, heavy hitters on this list that I think y'all have skipped over. Give me one of our favorite witch ladies out there. Give me Bayonetta, baby.
Yes, here we go.
I was thinking about that. Yeah.
Give me bloody
I was hoping to get that
Fate.
for my next pick.
Bayonetta rules. An awesome series of games. I actually have the PS4 port of the first Bayonetta game coming in the mail soon, so maybe I'll play that a little bit before I probably will play it before we finally get to talk about it here. Bayonetta is awesome. And I will say this. You know how I mentioned that the live-action Tekken movie, the guy in charge of the games does not like that movie? Well, one of the big guys who worked on Bayonetta 2 really liked this animated film, so maybe that's a good thing. I've seen him tweet about it several times.
I thought we needed some women representation in our list so far too, in general, because
I got Chun-Li as my first pick. All right, Devin.
Yeah.
What is your last pick? I want you to just actually take a moment and breathe. In, out.
Yeah, I'm gonna be.
And let me know. Really think of this.
Yeah.
What's your last pick? This really counts.
Well,
this could be the thing that wins you the game.
Someone who would do these exercises, I would say, is probably someone who has to kind of live in the moment, maybe have good reflexes, have to be calm and collected, not overthink things, just got to react. Perhaps they would have a profession in being a Twitch streamer. Ninja Gaiden.
Okay. Oh my god!
I did not know where you're going with that. Wow!
I switched at the end there. Made it more
perfect.
I was talking about actual ninjas. I'm like, oh yeah, and the Twitch streamer is named Ninja. He has to have good reflexes. Yeah.
Nice.
Except he probably doesn't do enough of like calm yourself. Clearly, because he's dropped the N word. I'm pretty sure a couple times, but it happens to the best of us, right?
Hey, he's never been on the bridge though.
He hasn't, but he was not on the gamer bridge.
Man.
I'm pretty happy with my draft. I'll share more with you.
Okay. All right.
Yeah,
David.
I think yours is pretty solid. Yours, I think, no offense, Ethan, but I think Devin's is going to be the one to beat.
Hey, that's
I think
fine.
Ethan's could be a surprise because I mean, you self-proclaimed a lot of Hail Marys, so who knows? Maybe they're all A's. But I don't. I'm not not so confident on that. I am delaying as I'm thinking about which one of these I would like to pick. Man, I think, and I ranked this originally as 19, but now that if you guys have gotten rid of a lot of my better picks, I think I'm rethinking. I don't want to, I don't know how to say his name. Uwe Boll. Uwe. Yeah, I don't know that I want two of those on my picks.
You could go crazy with that.
So I think instead I'm going to do animated 2009.
Okay.
A fun puzzle game. Professor Layton and the Internal Diva.
Oh boy. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Professor Layton is a series of puzzle games that were mostly on the DS before moving to 3DS. Nintendo was a part of the publishing on that, but it was a Japanese company called Level 5 that did those. They're puzzle games that are like a lot of like situation puzzles, and like it's like a story as he's going through his detective thing, and now here's a puzzle about what he needs to do to figure it out. So Professor Layton and the Eternal Diva. Very curious.
I was between that and picking Animal Crossing. My thinking is that I think this Professor Layton movie is going to be a little bit better because I don't think the IP is that strong. So they had to like double down on making a better movie where that you could kind of coast along with so many people knowing about Animal Crossing.
Well,
that's
the
my
Animal
logic.
Crossing movie came out when the first game came out in Japan. And so that was a new IP at the time. So
okay.
That one is also only in Japanese. It is not my final pick, so I can just say we don't have to worry about trying to find a. But it was a sleeper for me. If it was like, man, all my picks are being taken. God forbid that would happen to me. Just fun fact: none of my picks were taken by you. My top six,
Wow.
my top six.
Nice.
So yeah, but I had that thought in my head of like maybe I'm just gonna go crazy and pick Animal Crossing. But then I also thought like I don't want to have to find this. So
Fair enough.
my final pick as I stall here, build up suspense. You know, as I know you two know, but I didn't say this at the top before we began. Like last year, I made this list of potential of picks, and I made it in two ways. There were some that I handpicked. Either they are a part of a major series or like a major, Hollywood movie, like the Warcraft movie, for instance, would have been one. I'm doing two fingers now. I'm doing the thumb. Actually, no, I'm going to swap to this. I handpicked some not knowing anything about the quality. And if they were also part of long series too, like we got to make sure we released. There's 1 million Resident Evil films. That's why Damnation was on here at all. Was because like, no, we need to make sure we get through these. I don't want to do just straight Resident Evils at the end. And then half of them were randomly picked. I literally used our Roll20 game of D&D because I thought it was fun to type /1D 130 and see what pops up. So my last pick here, I'm actually disappointed in you two, mainly Devin, for not picking this because I understand he didn't like the first one that much. I understand he didn't like the second one all that much. But it's an obligation, motherfucker. I want to get through this. I'm picking Persona 3, the movie number 3.
I was hoping we could
Falling
avoid it.
Down. An animated film based off of a Persona game that recently got remade. I'm hoping that I can, take that energy and go back in time. I remember when we last did the Persona 3 movies, which was Persona 3 movie number 2, Midsummer Night's Dream. Night was spelled like Knight. I was like, oh, I just got the remaster of the PSP report of that game. I'm going to play through it, and maybe by the time we do the next one, I'll have beaten it. And I didn't do much. I didn't even get up to what that movie covered. So, like, I really don't even know still at this point. So that is my 6th and final pick. Now, so that the audio folks at home know, we're each going to read out our 6 picks in order. So I'm going to read out my 6. David will do his. Devin will do his as well, just so that everyone can hear us pronounce these films. My picks are Street Fighter: The Legend of Chun-Li, Tekken, Super Mario Brothers: The Great Mission to Rescue Princess Peach, Fatal Fury: Legend of the Hungry Wolf, Neko Atsume House, and Persona 3: The Movie Number 3 Falling Down. David.
Wow. All right. Number 1, Gran Turismo. Then it's very hard to go in order because I picked them out of order, but here I'm going to do my best. Next one, I believe, was Dead Trigger.
No,
Yes.
it was Max Payne.
Max Payne.
Then-
All right.
then-
So Gran Turismo, Dead Trigger, Max
No.
Payne.
It was Gran Turismo Max Payne Dead Trigger. Get your own movies right.
Dante's Inferno, an animated epic. In the Name of the King, a dungeon siege tale. That was
like how
actually
you-
just one movie. Yeah, that was
Dante's
like-
Inferno, an epic, in the Name of the King.
All right.
And your last one.
What? I thought I went through all of them.
No, you didn't.
Eternal.
Yep.
Whatever.
Your last pick is Professor Layton
Diva.
and the Eternal
Oh,
Diva.
that's my fault because I did not highlight it as I had been. Yeah, Professor Layton and the Eternal Diva.
Maybe it's French. Layton.
Professor Layton in the Eternal Diva.
Perfect. All right. I think
Croissant.
diva actually might be a French origin word.
Diva. Le Diva Dupin.
I'm just thinking maybe of the word debut, which is French. Devin,
Debut.
what are your 6 picks? Hopefully you know what they are.
Well, because I think writing out actually helped a ton. Keep this organized for me. Tetris. Mortal Kombat: Battle of the Realms. Resident Evil: Damnation. Five Nights at Freddy's, aka FNAF. Bayonetta. Bloody Fate. Oh, I said that with a slight Australian Scottish accent there. Then I had, what was the next
beautiful.
one? Ninja Gaiden.
I just want to congratulate you on pronouncing Gaiden correctly. How many people apparently pronounce it Gaiden? I'm like, y'all just homophobic. So there's an I in there. It's Gaiden. There's a lot of people that say that. Or say the Mortal Kombat dude's name is Raiden when it's Raiden.
It's true.
Or the Metal Gear Solid character Raiden when they pronounce it Raiden.
What do you do? Playing Ninja Gaiden right now, dude? Sounds like a dumb
that's
insult.
not-
Not like
that's
from like
not what I
Xbox 360 era. Like, just,
Yeah.
Well, this is going to be a fun season. Now, this is 18 picks, which means over the course of, I guess,
We got a counter
about a
pick.
year. Oh, that's right. Oh, my God.
come on, we're
We're
not
gonna
done
watch
with
these
this draft
films.
yet.
Yeah, come
That's
on.
right. So now we're doing counter picks. As let me bring up that rubric once more here. As you can see, it behooves someone to pick films that they are pretty sure are going to be bad because they're going to get more points. But if they pick one that's going to be really good, they're going to be losing up to 2 points potentially. I think the chances of that might be low depending on what the counter picks are. I guess all mine are going to be yeses, so I guess they will lose points when they pick those. But
Questionable.
how do we want to do this?
Maybe.
How about this? We're gonna start with me, not my picks, but your counter picks of my list, and then we'll do David's list and then Devin's.
That's fine.
list.
Because this
I don't
doesn't
think
really
it
matter.
doesn't really matter. Yeah, and we
we're-
can both pick the same one. So
Yeah, if we weren't
Um,
allowed to pick the same one, I think then we could have a conversation about the rules. But let's just do it that way, just the order in which
Yeah.
we started.
All right, so David, on my list here,
Okay.
which is Street. Actually, you know what? I'm going to just send y'all a photo real quick.
Maybe we should
on
have done that before when we
Discord.
were struggling to remember the exact order in which we
Here,
picked.
check. Well, I just assumed you had your lists written down.
I did, because I have it based off my power rankings, and I just wrote who picked what as it went.
Okay.
David's photo of him rubbing
Call
his
me
nose.
nose wife.
Hey, you're on camera, pal.
Great.
At least he's not double barreling it.
Double barrel.
It's the term I just made up.
All right.
All right, on my list of 6 films here, what is your counter pick for me?
Yeah, I mean, I wrote it down when you picked it, and I knew this was going to be my counter pick. I mean, number one, it's so old. Number two, I just think it's going to be bad. Plain out. And I got to pick Super Mario Bros. The Great Mission to
Really?
Rescue Princess Peach.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Going right into the second.
Well, no, you're picking your counter pick on my list, and then
you're
Devin's
picking one
gonna
on
pick his counter pick on my list.
Yeah, so you're good
Oh,
for Ethan, yeah.
So, Devin, what's your counter pick on my list here?
Well, I'm going to have to agree with David, but for a different reason. Fan projects, let's just be honest with internet culture. Fan projects, 99% of the time, are lame as fuck and suck. So that's why I had it ranked as 24th on my list. Because I'm like,
Really?
I'm like,
Wow.
it isn't going to be good. It is
Yeah.
the oldest on the list. I didn't even think about that. But if there, like, were people like dying for this? I don't think so. I think it was 5 people in a Discord call decided to like, we should dub it, and
They're not dubbing it. It's subtitled. Subtitled. It's not
whatever.
Because
It just-
if
it
it
just-
was
It would be
dubbed,
even
then
worse
I wouldn't
dubbed.
have picked it as high.
I would have picked it higher if it was dubbed because it might be funny as fuck. People like doing
Yeah.
awful voice acting could be hilarious.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry, bud. I'm gonna pick Super Mario Brothers as well.
Wow, we both immediately agreed.
Wow.
Brutal.
Okay. Okay.
Hoping it's bad.
Well, now here's just
Watch it be an S tier, like the best thing we've ever seen in our lives.
Yeah.
Better than any other movies. Just transcended to another realm.
and to throw it out
Could be.
here to follow up on a question David asked at the top of the show here. We do have to unanimously agree on this, and I guess, against the wall here. So we just got to make sure that we are being fair and honest, because
Yeah.
you two could easily tank this on me and get
Well,
yourself
I-
some points. So we're gonna
I
be
think
fair.
I agree with Devin in that I think I want it to be good because I have to watch it. But for my counter pick,
Fair.
I'm hoping that they made it poorly.
I mean, I guess what you have going for you is that it might be well made, but like the subtitles, it being old, I think, and
Yeah.
it being a fan project is what's like the big red flag for me.
Okay.
It's like if
Okay.
we're comparing this to like an NFL draft, he had 2 ACL tears in college. Yeah, he might have that talent on the field, but is he just going to tear his ACL again? You know, like we don't want to put too much stock into it. So that's where I think out of all of these, for me, like there was some I could maybe pick, but I just feel like that's the strongest one going for me on the
Interesting.
counter pick. Yeah.
Okay. Now for
At best, I don't see it being more than a C, which would only get me 0. So I'm not.
fair. That would be B, right? I think B is would
Oh,
get you
so
0.
I'll still get a point. Yeah.
If it's a C, yeah, you'll get a point. Right? Yes. All right. Now for David's list, I'm going to pick my counter pick. I feel like this is a very obvious one. I'm picking In the Name of the King, a Dungeon Siege tale
That
on
is totally
David's
fair.
list here. Devin, how about you on David's list here?
Dude, I'm actually having a tougher time just because I do believe
Wow.
a bit in the Jason Statham, and I did have it a little
Yeah.
bit higher. It was 19th on my list out of 24. So I have a hard time picking it, but that's what the cards are saying for me I should pick. No, actually, no, 21, which David
Wow, I
picked.
picked some low movies on your list. Not looking good.
I think that's where I'm leaning, and I think I'm just going to go. I'm just going to trust my draft board and not overthink it. Just trust the board. Give me the Eternal Diva as my counter pick.
Oh,
his last pick.
interesting.
Professor
Interesting.
Lupin and the Eternal Diva, Le Fromage du Pain.
Yeah. Perfect. Okay. We put our marks on David's board there.
That'll be interesting.
And then now on Devin's list here, why don't I go first? Looking it over, Devin did a lot of safe picks here.
He has some pretty good movies. It's tough.
We don't really know that, to be fair, but we're just
It could all be
assuming.
bad.
At
Yeah.
face value.
I just picked safe. That's how I drafted this to a degree. Was just
Yeah. So
Not going
on the
for too
one
many-
hand, I have a feeling that Mortal Kombat will be will be fine. At worst, will be fine. Tetris, I think same thing. Will be fine at worst. Five Nights at Freddy's might be cringy for us. We might find this Gen Alpha film extremely cringy. But I don't know. Bayonetta, I think it might actually not be that bad. Ninja Gaiden, Jesus, I said it. Ninja Gaiden.
He's homophobic. Whoa, cancel him.
Ninja Gaiden might, it might be but like I really have no idea. I'm just going off of it's old, just like how you went with Mario. Well, one aspect of your pick of Mario was its age, and it might be early, but like they've been making animes since like the 70s, so like they could have made it okay. I am going to do a hope here, because that's what I always do is a hope. I'm the hope. Resident Evil Damnation sucks. That's
really?
my counter pick.
Wow.
That's my counter pick.
Damn. That's.
I'm hoping it's just as boring as Degeneration.
Which I think was a C, so I think you'd get 1 point.
No, it was a B.
Oh, so you're hoping it's.
I think we were being very, very, very nice for the first few picks because we're like, we want to get points on the board. I think we were disappointed, but we're like, nah, I mean, it's not that bad.
It had its moments.
Yeah, so that's my counter pick. David, looking at Devin's list here, what do you think?
It's tough, but I think I just have to go with the one that I know the least about because that's how I've picked my entire board. But the opposite, Ninja Gaiden. I'm hoping that it's going to be bad, and I think it will be.
Yeah, I think the tough part about having the counter picks is we did draft this in a way, so I think it's always the tendency is to go for the last pick.
Yeah.
But yeah, based off how Ethan drafted, I was like,
Yeah.
I was like, you made it actually. Based off my board, in my opinion, it made it harder.
Right.
Yeah.
I'll say this: last season on the Sonic Movie Show for the draft, the movies we ended up doing counter picks for were like it was my last film that Devin counter picked, and then I picked his second to last film. This time around,
Angry Birds.
Yeah, you guys both picked my third pick. I picked Devin's third pick, and then we have a fifth on David and a sixth on David and a sixth on Devin. So it's a little bit more spread out. Am I already regretting picking Resident Evil? Yes, but like, hey, I'm no backsies. No backsies. No backsies. This has been fun. I'm excited.
I think we have a great. I guess I'll share my strategy a little bit more now. So knowing David was going to be on this, and I wanted to pick ones that I think we will generally, all three of us will agree on things we like. We've seen movies together. So that's how I went into this. I didn't go into being like, I'm going to like this a lot, or just Ethan's going to like. I was like, I'm going to try to get a combination of three of us. And I feel like generally speaking, based off other stuff me and Ethan have done on the show, live action, I feel like typically does better on our rankings. So I leaned way more on the live action, even if there was ones where I'm like, this anime one could be good. I'm like, just based off the last couple seasons we've done
there's
of this,
a better chance for us to find it more fun because like that's a real person doing that. You know what I mean? Like doing this goofy thing, as opposed to being
so that was kind of my strategy, was to get a combination of all of our what I think we all like generally, but also leaning more on the live action. There were still a couple, like Mortal Kombat was my third like on my list to get, and then followed by Resident Evil. So like there was still top 5 animated stuff, but yeah, after the first like 10, it's mostly live action. I'll send you a picture of it maybe after the recording.
I'll throw this out
madness.
there. I had a lot of confidence that you were going to pick Mortal Kombat. But if, like, no one did, it was going to be my 5th pick because of obligation regions. Like, there's a lot of Mortal Kombat ones. I want to get them out of the way. They're making them one a year now. We got to catch up. We can't just get too far behind. So I was going to pick that out of necessity for the sake of the show. Because that's how a great guy I am, I'm going to carry the cross of Persona 3.
I mean, we could always add those to a separate pile, and then we just pick less movies.
Sure. Hey, while we're still here, let's go over the picks that got dropped. Or these are the picks that didn't get picked, the films that didn't get picked. For the second time in a row, Alone in the Dark and Street Fighter Alpha the movie did not get picked. They missed out on 2 entire seasons.
Well, Animal Crossing
really, If Ethan didn't say anything about the director, those were like very high on my list.
I wanted to be fair and honest. I wasn't going to
Yeah.
blindside David. We were playing Helldivers the other night. I'm like, all right, let me tell you about this boy. Let me tell you about this guy.
I think
So
it was
Alone in the Dark.
Alone in the Dark.
Street Fighter Alpha the movie, Animal Crossing, Art of Fighting, which I actually think probably wouldn't have been that bad. It was high up on my picks.
I had it in 14th. That was the only one that didn't get picked. So out of my top 13, all of those got picked. Then
Except that
14
one.
was the most available one, was Art of Fighting. So that would have been my pick if Ninja Gaiden got.
House of the Dead, another Uwe Boll film, and Tekken the motion picture did not get picked. So those are the ones I will mark them down just for next year, next season, to be like, hey, this might be fun. And yes, I say next year because this will most likely take over the course of an entire year, 18 episodes detailing our reviews of these films. The order in which we are going to watch them is going to be the order that you see here, left to right, top to bottom. So Street Fighter, The Legend of Chun-Li, Gran Turismo, Tetris, then Tekken, Max Payne, Mortal Kombat Legends, then Super Mario Brothers, then Dead Trigger, etc., etc. So we're not snake drafting the order that we're watching.
Order. Yeah.
We are just watching them straight through, top to bottom. So this way, it's like, it's a little bit more interesting to be like, all right.
I mean, last year
Ethan,
was
you went
fun
first,
because
now
it was
6
just like
movies later.
every other. It's like, okay, we know.
Yeah.
I need this many
Exactly.
points. I hope this is a C, or we'll see how this one goes. Yeah, I will say, like, just looking at my draft board, I'm pretty happy with, because most of mine are, I didn't pick below 13th on my list out of, what was
Wow.
it? 16. So
Well,
and
I
most
didn't
of them
pick
are in the
below
top
6.
Professor Layton was 19 for me. But I felt the
think that
calling.
movie
So I'm
is going to
confident.
be fine.
I'm
I think that movie
confident,
is
but if I
gonna be
lose
good for
again,
you.
then I guess I just gotta retire. I can't.
Yeah.
I'm like I said, my list is full of Hail Marys. I'm hoping that you throw 6 Hail Marys, someone's gonna catch it, and it's gonna get into was the end goal. The metaphor
Or
kind
it
of
gets
ends.
it intercepted and then once, and then the game's over. Usually Hail Mary is at the end of the game.
Well, these are 6 different games.
6 different games.
Statistically, one's gonna hit. I just wanted to be a little bit fun. I want to make sure that we're not just picking constant safe ones, and I'm okay being that guy. And I'm excited to watch these. So that's not even a knock. I'm actually excited to watch some of these. Maybe not so
think
much
we
the
really
Persona
did.
3 movie. I
I think we did a good.
Those ones were boring.
Considering half of them were animated and half of them were live action, I was worried there was going to be too many of both or one
Right.
direction.
There's
and I feel like we got an
1,
even amount.
3, 4.
Close to even.
Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9. Okay, half. It's half and half. 9 live action, 9 animated films on this list.
Yeah, so it
that we're
worked out.
watching here. So
Yeah,
there was half in
crazy.
the 24 and there's half in the 18. Works out perfectly. Well, this has been fun. I'm glad we could do this to kind of set us up for a good fun season here. But we're not done with the episode right now, boys. I hope you don't have anywhere you need to be, because it's time for everyone's favorite new game show, Name That Gun. That's right,
Name that
guys.
gun?
Name that gun. My boys
We're-
David and Devin
Ethan
here
and I
are
just,
going to be
pull out.
listening to 6 different sound effects of guns in video games. If they can guess the gun,
shit.
if they can guess the gun that it is, they
Whoa.
get 5 points. If they can guess the video game it's from, they also get 5 points. They can either get 5.
Are we
for the
competing? Or are we
gun.
on the same team?
You're against each other.
Oh,
So
shit.
I will
You're
play
going down.
I will play a
Probably.
soundboard file
think
on
so.
Discord here. The first one of you to say your own name buzzes in. You're going to tell me the name of the video game it's from and the gun that it is. If you get either of those correct, it's 5 points. If you get both, that's 10
Is
points.
can you give us, like, how deep cuts are these going to be? Because I can't even name you deep cut video games in general. So I'm worried that, like,
Yeah.
I know that about the two of you. I'm just going to throw that out
Okay.
there. I know that about the two of you.
Okay, that's good.
it's like you're like, oh, this is from
Yeah, I don't even
this
know if I
old
could do-
Capcom game.
Yeah.
There are some
you know.
that'll be easier than others, and some that I'm hoping that you guys can recognize here. But like I said, Let's say I ask one and Devin buzzes in. He's going to give me the name
How
of
do
the
we buzz
gun
in?
and the name. But you say your own name. I actually do have soundboard effects.
I'm going to say David, so
your
makes
own
David
names,
go first,
but,
and
I
then he
think it's
loses
easier
his
this way.
turn because he's not ready.
Yeah. If you can guess the name of the gun and the name of the video games, you get 10 points. If you can only guess the gun, that's 5. Only guess the game, that's 5. Now let's say Devin gets the gun but not the game correctly. It's probably going to be the other way around. Let me finish. I'm still talking here. If Devin only gets one of those correct, David gets a chance to guess the other thing, and he will get 5 points if he can. If Devin whiffs both of them, David gets a chance to guess the whole thing. That's how we're going to be doing this. All right, any questions?
No, I was just going to say, I think it's funny we're doing this. Don't change it. But I know YouTube for sure is going to flag every video that we do mention the word gun multiple times and then play sound effects.
Isn't that
I was
just
going
in
to
the
say this would be
beginning
a
of
good
videos, though?
clip to put at the
I think
end.
mostly in the beginning, yes. But it's just going to be funny that, like,
Yeah.
we might be on the no-no list.
As Ethan's like, and we're taking out our guns.
Let's talk about guns now. What's your
all
favorite
right.
guns?
So there's going to be 6 gun sound effects. I will play the
Okay.
first one right now. Remember, you buzz in by saying your own name. What is the gun and video game that this is from?
Devin.
Devin, I heard Devin first.
Ugh.
It's the op, and it's in CS:GO or CS2. Whichever
Is that
one
your
you're
final
counting.
answer?
They're both the same sound effect, I'm pretty sure.
Is that your
Yes.
final answer?
Counter-Strike, yes.
That Devin, as I have to
So
do this
intense.
correctly, that Devin is correct on both accounts. That is 10 points on the board for Devin. If you said
Damn.
CS:GO or CS2, I would have counted it.
Okay, I didn't know how technical, because I'm
I
like,
think
I
it
mean,
is the
both
same
have
sound.
it, so yeah.
I think it is the same sound effect. All right, wow, that was pretty quick. This is the second gun sound effect now. Remember, you buzz in by saying your own name. You want to buzz in quickly, you say it quicker. All right, here we go. I will play it one more time.
David,
What is it?
a shotgun from Doom.
David
Like old
says
Doom.
the shotgun from Old Doom. David is correct. That's 10
Wow.
points
I never-
for David.
I never played
It's
it.
a very, very iconic sound
Whoa.
effect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was gonna guess
sure
Shadow
is.
low key if I had to guess. Like if David didn't get it correct, I was like maybe Shadow. It kind of sounds like something from one of the shotguns that he shot, but
Yeah. It's like
It is-
just
sounds
one of the
older
few
for sure.
Yeah.
It was also a lot of the sound effects in the original Doom were sound effects they bought. Like they purchased the rights to use. So that might have been one of them that was used. I know the door opening sound effect in Doom has been used in like Doctor Who and Star Wars and shit. All right. So this is the third gun sound effect. Buzz in by saying your own name. I will play it one more time.
What?
I think that last part
Devin?
is a okay.
I'm gonna say like a revolver, and from
Okay.
Uncharted.
Devin says revolver
guess.
from Uncharted. That is half correct. It is a revolver, but he did not get the
Yeah.
video game correctly.
Wow, I thought maybe I
Oh,
get
wow.
Uncharted right, but not the gun. I'm like, it kind of sounds like a pistol.
It does make
David.
sense like a charger because like the bullets falling out after. Now that you say that.
David, can you guess the video game that this revolver is from?
Oh boy. I'm trying to. I gotta look at the list.
The list.
I'm trying to remember the Resident Evil. I'm gonna guess.
He's going off the movie list.
Well, yeah. Well, I couldn't think of the. I knew what I wanted, but I couldn't think of the name.
I'm like, whoa, Ethan
Do
gave
I-
David a secret
do I
list
have to
of
say
actually
this?
all the possibilities.
yeah. No, just the movie list because I
You
knew
locking
there was
that
a
in?
Resident Evil. Yeah. Does that?
David
Do I have to
says
say like a
Resident
specific?
Evil. No, because it's not correct.
Okay.
The correct answer, Overwatch. This is McCree / Cassidy's main gun, his
Oh,
revolver.
wow.
It's a character David played as a lot, so I figured, maybe
Yeah.
he would have got that. Yeah.
Yeah, I was straight up guessing. I'm like, it sounds like some sort of pistol. Originally, I was gonna say like a deagle or something, but I'm like, no, it sounds like multiple rounds. So I'm like, it's got to be.
Yeah. I actually had to
cylinder.
find, because I tried finding sound clips, because you can find the game rips, and everyone just wants the voice lines of the characters. I'm like, no, I want McCree's gun, and I couldn't find it, so I had to find a YouTube video of someone just just shooting out in nothing, and I recorded that, and then spliced it in.
Tough one.
All right, we are halfway done of 6 total gun
so
sound
many.
effects. Here is gun sound effect number 4, buzzing by saying your own name.
Devin.
What is it?
Fuck, why did I say my name? It's a. Isn't that the pistol from Half-Life?
Devin says the pistol from Half-Life. And you're saying just like the basic pistol?
Yeah.
That
Like one of
is incorrect on both counts.
Wow.
David, what do you think that this gun sound effect was from?
We don't get to hear it again.
I'll play it for you one more time.
I don't even know if that helped.
It sounds
Wow.
so default. That's why I
That's-
thought it was
yeah.
Half-Life. Because I'm like, this is like
Wow.
source, like early source, like sound effects.
It does sound source.
Disappointing you, Devin.
Frick. I am completely blanking. I'm gonna go a rifle from Call of Duty, a sniper rifle from Call of Duty. I don't know.
David says a sniper rifle from Call of Duty. That is incorrect.
Yeah.
This is a Desert Eagle, or, because it's never shown being fired, the other option I would pick is menu selection from Shadow the Hedgehog.
Oh God, that's why it sounds
wow.
so basic. Oh, I'm like,
It's the open of our last episode. You should have heard it.
that's definitely mine to lose there. Damn, it sounded way too familiar, but it for whatever
does.
reason my brain was like Half-Life because it just sounds like how all those guns kind of sound like.
I'll play
in
it
the
one more
first
time for
two
you now that you
Half-Life
know
games.
what it is. This was that Shadow.
Oh, I know it now. Now that you said it, yeah.
All right, the Shadow just shot you.
It sounds almost like CS Source.
That's
And
what
I
I'm
say-
saying. Like Half-Life, CS Source.
Yeah, I would have picked. I mean, hey, they might have picked from the same sound libraries. You know what I mean? Like they could have
That's
easily.
true.
Not everyone records like the Foley work for all these games. A lot of people just buy them. I would have gone with either Desert Eagle or menu selection. It's technically the menu selection sound, but there's the main key art of him holding a Desert Eagle. And that's what it sounds like to me. So I would have picked that as well. All right. Now for the 5th gun sound effect. This one, I'm very curious if either of you get, but you've definitely heard it.
Devin.
What?
Devin.
That is the item gun from Gary's mod.
Devin says the item gun.
Whatever, I forget. I don't know if
Gary's
it's called
mod.
item gun, but it shoots the thing and you could spawn whatever it is.
Devin
I
says
think.
the item gun from Gary's mod. Is that your final answer?
Yes.
That is 100% correct.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow.
I was
that one engraved
surprised.
in my head.
I was surprised.
I think I was gonna
'Cause
say
I
the
personally
portal
didn't hear
gun.
that much. Yeah, just to play it one
Well,
more time.
my brain was already on source too, so I was like, it's
Yeah.
right there.
That was the sound.
I remember because I think I used it a lot when we played, and I would always spam the balloon dudes. The guys' heads were balloons, and I just pew 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 pew. So I just did that sound
my
effect
gosh.
infinitely, and I just think I have it ingrained in my head from that because I
Well-
love spamming the balloons everywhere.
We have one more sound effect around our last round. David has 10 points and Devin has 25. So I'm sorry, David. Looks
brutal.
like
I
you're
won.
not going to win. But let's play out this last round for fun here. This is the 6th and final gun sound effect of the night. Buzzing by saying your own name.
David.
David.
I think that's just the AK from Counter-Strike.
David says the AK from Counter-Strike. That is incorrect.
No, that's a
Devin, you have
deeper
a guess?
sound.
I'll play
Can
it for you one more time.
Yeah. Is it a bolt action rifle? Fuck. I think it's a bolt action rifle. I'm just not sure what game. I want to say Battalion, but there's no way.
I'll play it one more time for you. I'll play it one more time for you.
It's fine.
You're saying bolt action rifle.
Or like a semi-automatic. Like it is a rifle, single shot rifle. I guess not bolt action. Single shot rifle. Probably like 6 rounds in a clip. For the memes, I'll say Battalion, but I think it's Call of Duty, but I'll say Battalion.
Devin says a semi-automatic rifle from
that
Battalion.
one-off game, that hot game for 3 months.
A game I have never played and don't know what it sounds like. That is incorrect, but it is the semi-automatic rifle from Rust.
Oh, wow. Huh.
Battalion was Dave and I played a decent amount of it, but it was a hot game in like 2018. Like everyone was playing it, and then everyone just dipped all at the same time. So every time we played, it was like maybe 6 people online.
I remember that was a Square Enix one of their like weird outreach licensing projects, where like we'll publish your game for you, type of things.
It was fun. I mean, it was kind of like a classic World War II shooter, but yeah, just never. They should have made it free, I think, is the issue. They charged $40 for it, and then it was a, every season kind of thing. So it's like, and this was still in the time when that was, Yeah. I mean, like a couple of years prior, Overwatch did that, $40, but that game was fun and good, unlike the free-to-play Overwatch 2, which is not fun and not good. Well, our final score, David with 10 points and Devin with 30 points. We have our champion of Name Gun Expert.
Wow, gun expert over here.
Although he did fail the shadow one, which is
funny. That should have been the gimme. Yeah.
But apparently the tool gun, that's what it's officially called, in Gary's mod was a gimme for you, which is surprising.
Yeah.
I'm going to play all those sound effects one more time to close out this segment.
It's a war zone out there.
All right, I'll close my window.
Sorry.
David lives in Maryland. Okay. Well, that was fun. That was a fun way to kind of close out the episode, guys. Thank you guys for being on this episode with us. I know we didn't mention this at the top of the show. David was on an episode of the podcast 4 years ago.
The real ones now.
The real ones.
OGs.
Yeah, of our Last of Us Part 2 episode discussion.
Like 2020.
Video game discussion.
Honestly, 4 years ago. That's freaking crazy.
Yeah.
We've been doing it this long.
Yeah.
God damn
Insane.
it.
Devin, next month is our 5th anniversary of this podcast. Just going to throw that out there.
And we're not eating cake?
Whoa.
Wow, we got to prep for next episode. We're going to be eating cake. All right, guys, this was fun. Hey, remember, we are a podcast that you can find on YouTube, youtube.com/@SonicMovieShow. Like, subscribe, write in the comments below how much of a gun nut you are. I hope you watched it, got that far, and can answer that. What did you think about our movie picks? Do you think my picks are absolutely stupid? Do you think Devin's gonna probably have a shoe-in, or do you think David's got the secret sauce, like the Italian that he is? Let us know in the comments below if you want us to listen to while you're driving your car, and obviously videos would crash your car on you. You can listen to us on Apple Music and Spotify, Audible, and the like. Hey, you know what? We're also on Twitter @SonicMovieShow, and Instagram and TikTok and Threads. Do we still post on Threads?
I try to.
Threads? Okay, yeah. We post on Threads. We're not on Blue Sky. I forgot about that completely until recently. I still call it Twitter. Anyway, I'm on Twitter @EthanAbsolutely. Devin is on Twitter @CursonaFun. David doesn't want you to follow him on Twitter, right? You don't post.
No.
All right.
No.
You just say hi, David, out loud out your window, and he'll hear it.
No, his is @David. So whatever @David is, you can.
@David.
Yeah,
I really
right,
wanted @Ethan, but I wish people were nice and gave it to me, a budding content creator. All right. All right. Well, this has been fun. Thank you, everyone, for listening, watching, and playing along. We'll see you next time. Have a good one.
Bye.